You're always out and about, leaving the house in a mess. I'm out working all day, starving, and when I come home, there's no meal prepared. That's just not right. I'm sorry, I just finished work and I'm on my way home, I said. My husband yelled at me furiously. Are you kidding me? You know I come home hungry. It's your job as my wife to have dinner ready and be waiting for me at the door. I work full-time too. I can't do that, I argued back. He scoffed at me with a tone of derision. That's because you're inefficient, isn't it? I'm working hard and earning $900 every month. I am Abigail, 35 years old, a working mother married for 5 years. We live in the house left by my parents, who died 7 years ago, with my husband Paul, who is the same age. We met at our usual bar. He approached me when I was drinking alone. At first, I thought he was just hitting on me and brushed him off, but he was persistent, and eventually we started drinking together. He was kind and gentlemanly, always listening to me vent without getting annoyed. He was there for me when I was feeling down after my parents' tragic accident. Spending time with him gradually became irreplaceable for me. I decided I wanted to spend my life with my kind-hearted husband and got married. Our in-laws were delighted about our marriage, and I thought we were going to be happy. However, once we started living together, I realized he believed in the traditional husband earns, wife takes care of the home philosophy, like an old-fashioned henpecked husband. He wouldn't agree to share household chores and pushed everything onto me. Even if I was busy with work and came home late, he never helped with housework and criticized every little imperfection. The only reason you're working is because you're bad at managing things. As the head of the family, I'm doing my part. It's your most important role to manage the household perfectly. Don't use work as an excuse to neglect your duties. He paraded me with harsh words. Despite multiple attempts at discussion, he never budged from his beliefs. One day, as I was heading home from work, my mobile phone rang unexpectedly. It was a call from my husband. As I hastily answered the phone, my husband's voice came through loud and crackling. Where have you been? Leaving the house in such a state. I'm out all day sweating at work, coming home starving, and there's no meal ready. That's just not right. I'm sorry. I'm just finishing up work and I'm on my way now. If you're hungry, there are some snacks in the cupboard. Can you wait a little while? As I suggested this, my husband fumed back. Do you think this is a joke? You know I come home hungry. It's your duty as my wife to have dinner ready and greet me at the door. I'm working full-time too. I just can't do that, I defended myself. He mocked me with a disdainful tone. That's just you being inefficient, isn't it? I work hard and bring home $900 every month. You should be more grateful to me, the breadwinner. $900 isn't enough to live on. I told you countless times. Just then, it started to rain, contrary to the clear forecast in the morning. Reluctantly, I tried asking my husband to help out. Could you please bring in the laundry? It started to rain. His response dripped with exasperation. What? You can't expect me to do such tedious tasks? That's your responsibility. Our budget is tight because you can't manage it properly. I earn enough, but I allow you to work because of your demands. Don't you dare slack on your household duties. I'm hungry and irritated. I'm going out to grab some food and hit the slots. With that, he hung up without waiting for my reply. I sighed heavily and trudged home. Arriving, I found the laundry completely soaked from the rain, left abandoned on the balcony. Disheartened, I gathered the wet clothes and threw them into the washer. My husband has been working at a relatively small factory for about 15 years, but seemingly not skilled enough, he's still earning a mere $900 a month as a trainee. I've repeatedly expressed that $900 isn't nearly enough to live on, but he turns a deaf ear. Having never worked part-time as a student or gained experience elsewhere, he firmly believes he's doing enough as a provider. Left with no choice, I've been working hard to support our family. Recently, my efforts were recognized, and I was honored with a promotion. But with it came an increase in workload and often overtime. I was being overwhelmed with the demands of balancing work and household chores, yet my husband showed no concern or effort to help. The next day, after finishing work, I returned home to find my husband sitting sulkily with his arms crossed. Hello, I greeted him. He glared at me and bellowed back, You forgot already? I told you just yesterday to have dinner ready and greet me when I return. You're really useless. I said it before, we both work. When I come home late, you as an adult can manage something like buying ready-made meals, can't you, Paul? As I reasoned, my husband sighed dramatically. Oh, I married you thinking I hit the jackpot with a moderately attractive woman with her own house and no annoying in-laws. Turns out you're just a washed-up hag. You don't care about your appearance anymore, and I can't find a single good thing about you. How dare you? Is that all I am to you? I frowned, and he continued unabashedly. What's wrong with choosing a spouse based on certain conditions? You fell for me because I was kind to you, right? My act of a gentleman was convincing, wasn't it? I was completely fooled, I replied sarcastically, and he said smugly, Right, maybe I should take up acting. As for you, even a bit of effort to keep your husband interested would help. But the way you neglect yourself on weekends, I can't stand it anymore. A wife ugly and useless at housework deserves to be served with divorce papers, don't you think? He then headed towards the door, and I followed him, calling out, Where are you going? He turned with a sardonic smile. I'm leaving this house for a while. It's all your fault, so I'm taking all our savings. I won't return until you apologize sincerely and realize what it's like without me, the man of the house. Think hard about it. He left me standing there dumbfounded. The savings he took were meant for our future children, which I had been diligently saving despite his unreliable income. I thought we shared the dream of building a warm family, but that was my misconception. All I could muster was a dry laugh of disbelief. 3 months later, on my day off lounging at home, my phone rang unexpectedly. It was my husband. Hello, I answered, and he spoke cheerily. Abigail, long time no see. Have you reflected yet? Without me, the head of the household, you must have had a hard time. If you repent and dedicate yourself to me, I might consider coming back home. I haven't been struggling at all, and I certainly don't want you back. Besides, I sold my family home and it's gone now, so where do you plan to return to? As I calmly responded, my clueless husband became flustered and exclaimed, What? Don't be ridiculous. Even if it was my home too, why would you do something like that without consulting me? I'm not joking. There is a plan to build a large shopping mall in the area, and they approached us a while ago for a buyout. Everyone in the neighborhood agreed, and it made no sense for us to stubbornly refuse. The house was old, but we got a good deal above market value. As I explained, my husband suddenly became verbose. If we got money, then fine. Since we sold our house, that money is partly mine, right? Give me the new address. You've had time to reflect, right? It must be hard without me, the head of the household. No, I haven't been struggling at all. I see no reason to repent, and I've been quite comfortable without you around. Let's take this opportunity to divorce. My decisiveness panicked him. Why does it come to this? I earn $900 a month. You should be struggling without me. Isn't it harder for you without the head of the household? I sighed at his naivety and patiently corrected him. Actually, I've been the one supporting our finances. I earn far more than you. Still a trainee after 15 years? Last month I earned about $4,000. You're under my care, yet you delude yourself as the breadwinner. You probably want to get rid of your ugly and useless wife, right? Well, it's mutual. Your leaving was the wake-up call I needed. For that, I'm thankful. His voice quivered as he pleaded, Wait, please. I didn't mean what I said. It was just in the heat of the moment. I probed, testing him. Really? Then where have you been since you left? Caught off guard, he stuttered, business hotels, you know. Don't lie. I know everything. I've had suspicions about your affairs, especially these past 3 months. You've been gallivanting around. It wasn't hard to find evidence. College girls, shop clerks, aspiring models, and wealthy madams. His infidelity had become apparent soon after marriage, but with my busy work and home life, I never had the time to dwell on it. Once, when my husband fell asleep with his phone open, I accidentally saw that he was using a dating app. Later, I casually registered and sent a message to my husband, which he read and replied to instantly. Pretending to be a 23-year-old dental assistant, I engaged him in conversation. I want to meet you. I need your hugs to heal. What color is your underwear today? He began sending increasingly nauseating messages. Disgusted after discovering his deceit, I deleted the app immediately. As I confronted him, he brazenly claimed, Infidelity is a man's nature. Wouldn't you be prouder of a popular husband than a dull one? Be grateful that someone desired by women married you. Are you serious? A man earning just $900 a month, speaking of pride? And you barely contribute to our finances while demanding $800 as your allowance? You realize you contribute less than a child's allowance, right? All this, men earn, women tend the home, yet you do neither. Chasing after women has really addled your brain, hasn't it? Frustrated by my disdain, he snapped, "Enough. A little affair and you make a big deal out of it. I can't stand a nagging woman like you. We are getting a divorce. And remember, I'm entitled to half of everything, including the money from selling our house." I agreed to the divorce. "But you're mistaken about the house. It's mine, inherited from my parents, not subject to property division. I paid all related taxes and maintenance. You've never contributed to it." Stunned, he paused, then asked in panic, "So I'll lose the house and get nothing after the divorce?" "It's worse than that. Remember Ava, the wife of Chief Williams?" From the other end of the phone, I heard his breath hitch in shock. "I was astonished when I found out you were involved with her too. The president was furious when I reported it. They were lenient because of your family, but now they regret not firing you sooner." "You told them? How could you betray your own husband? What will I do if I'm fired?" My husband ranted at me, but I stood my ground. "I won't be your wife anymore. It's none of my concern. I married you believing you were kind. Even with your meager $900 salary, I believed we could build a warm home together. Instead, you indulged in affairs, hurled insults, and ultimately withdrew all of our savings for your escapade, which is despicable. I'll demand alimony for your continuous abuse and infidelity, and you'll return the misused savings. From now on, deal with the lawyer." With that, I hung up without waiting for his reply. He tried calling back multiple times, but I ignored him and eventually turned off my phone. On the answering machine were messages tinged with tears. "I was wrong. Please, let's start over." But I ignored them all. Subsequently, he was fired due to his affair with the boss's wife, shamed by both the president and our relatives. Persistent harassment towards a classmate's wife also led to his friends ostracizing him. Despite his tantrums, with the help of a lawyer, we divorced smoothly. The in-laws initially covered the alimony and embezzled savings, with him repaying monthly. After our divorce, my ex-husband attempted to return to his parents' home, but they refused him entry, saying, "We don't mind the repayments being transferred, just don't ever come back to our house." Apparently, they cut ties with him. Now he's rumored to be living in destitution, wrapped in cardboard by the river, scavenging through trash, scorned by passers-by. Post-divorce, I delved deeper into work and was promoted to lead a significant company project. I threw myself more into work, and the project was a huge success. Many people from the company were involved, regardless of gender. Unlike my ex-husband, there is no one with male chauvinistic thinking. Everyone cooperated and worked together as a team. At the celebratory party, I resolved to continue striving for a better society. Years later, I fulfilled that resolution, founding my own company and becoming its CEO, focusing on non-discriminatory work environments. My company encourages paternity leaves with over 90% uptake this year. I'm determined to continue working towards a better society. My former colleagues, while initially reluctant to let me go, ultimately supported my decision, knowing my resolve. My company is now a beacon of equality, promoting work-life balance for all.